Lartigue and Jean-Pierre Fontenay putting on a brave chase after the Citroens, but there was nothing they could do to stop Ari Vatanen winning his 4th victory in 5 years from Lartigue and Fontenay. So for Peugeot Reed Citroën, and the wins still keep piling up. Ari Vatanen wins, and Peter Hansel wins the bikes for the first time from teammates Gilles Lallet and Terry Magnaldi, just 170 of the 406 finished. Well, back to today, and the car rally passing through villages on their way to Timbuktu. Timbuktu, of course, one of the most famous of all the African cities. Once a sacred city of 100,000 people, now just 15,000 as a desert outpost here in northern Mali, as the Sahara creeps south at the rate of about 5 kilometers a year. These are villages alongside the Niger, the market town of Gao with its camel market, and all the way along villages where you can stop and have couscous and goat, and some even have fridges with Coca-Cola out the back. Well, the racing, Bruno Sabi winning the stage by 1 minute 17 seconds, despite an overheating differential. The Mitsubishi still well to the fore. And for Jean-Pierre Fontenay, rally leader, second on the stage, keeps his lead, reduced very slightly from Sabi at 9 minutes and 25 seconds. Both these men experienced, Sabi, of course, having won the Paris-Le Cap, but Fontenay never having yet been a winner of the Dakar, second 3 times, but looking this year to hold this lead for the remaining 7 days now, through Mali, Mauritania, and to Dakar on the Atlantic coast of Senegal. Fontenay comes into the checkpoint, followed by Sabi very closely. Sabi having, of course, overtaken him. They started at 1 minute intervals this morning. Kenjiro Shinazuka, last year's winner, third on the stage, and keeping his 3rd overall position in the Mitsubishi Pajero. He had a puncher on the stage today, didn't cost him too much time. As Masuoka goes through in the Challenger 4th overall, here's Jean-Louis Schlesser in the buggy. Now he's repaired, back up to speed, no gearbox problems today. 3rd on the stage, a great performance among the Mitsubishis, and maintaining his 5th place overall. Pick up Philippe Alliot, driving for Desud Nissan, 8th on the stage today, and 6th overall on the rally. Jean-Pierre Strugo still leading T1. He had a huge moment today. He went over a ridge, did a nosedive, and all but rolled the car. They actually kept it on its 4 wheels, but when they landed, 3 of those wheels had punctures. Nonetheless, 12th overall and leading the hotly contested T1 class. Jeko Sport car going through as we pick up again on some of the incredible scenery here on the Niger River as they approach Timbuktu, a city which incidentally until the turn of the century was considered so sacred that Europeans faced being executed if they dared go inside. Eventually became a Tuareg trading post, and of course, as you all know, from here to Timbuktu suggests the furthest place you can get from anywhere on this planet, and most of these people today will agree that's not far wrong. And we go on board with the all-girl team, Sylviane Goutaland and French judo champion Marie-Claire Restou, pushing hard in their Mitsubishi. Telling us, well, 3rd and 4th gear should be normal today. Then pick up the Japanese Isuzu Bighorn of husband and wife team, Masayasu and Reiko Yamamura. We saw them last year. While giving the waymarker instructions in Japanese, as you can hear. A Suzuki Vitara on this rally, that's something different. Suzuki Vitara there, everyone's favourite choice. Serge Henino telling us about the problems they've been having today. Well, it's been hard for 2 days. think we've managed to get the liaison to Dakar, but we've had a problem with spares, couldn't get all the spares we wanted, and we're now looking to, well, we need a bit of this, a bit of that. We're getting help from other people. I think we're going to be okay. We shall make it. Well, Jutta Kleinschmidt, 9th on the stage, having started 38 this morning, 27 hours down. And Terry Delaverne in the sister Nissan to that of Alio, 7th on the stage and 7th overall. So Mitsubishi filling the top 4 places, and it's the Schlesser buggy in 5th, and then 4 Nissans all behind them. But still a long, long way to go. And in fact, 7 hours covering Delaverne to the leader. Let's hear about the reaction of some of the drivers today about how conditions were, starting with Bruno Sarbi and that overheating axle problem.
On a eu un gros problème de pont avant, regardez, un peu de pont arrière qui chauffait entre 140 et 150 degrés dès le départ. On a été obligé de soulager, on a fait...
Well, it was quite a big problem for us, he said. We had it's overheating all the time.
On a essayé de limiter les dégâts, on a quand même roulé.
It was from the start. I made most of the stage on with the red light, which was very frightening. Tried not to lose too much time. We wanted to keep the contact, so we just said, well, we'll see what happens. Henri Pescarola was a great stage for our pro truck, he said. As I'm not racing anymore for place, I drove quite easily, around 80%, but it was great fun with a lot of driving and jumps. Absolutely perfect for this car. Well, Pescarola started 51st this morning, 51 hours behind. Philippe Alliot. Well, it's great as you feel like you're on a track, even if it's tricky and jumpy sometimes. It's a nice stage there, especially alongside the river. We already knew in reverse from last year. I loved it. It's a good test for the next few days. Well, Eurosport back Jutta Kleinschmidt in the buggy, saying today was a difficult day for me because I had to pass a lot of slower cars. I think we had to pass between 30 and 40 other vehicles, and as you've seen, probably the tracks are quite narrow. I'm not sure where we are now in the overall standings, but tomorrow we should be able to make up even more positions. Hopefully we can fight then for a stage win again. So today's results, Sarbi from Fontenay, Schlesser, Shinazuka, Masuoka and Pescarola. That buggy of Schlesser insinuating itself into the Mitsubishis, and what a fine performance by Henri Pescarola, 4 times Le Mans winner in his pro truck. That gives us the overall standings of the rally then. Mitsubishi top 4 places, then the buggy of Schlesser and Philippe Alliot in the Nissan now coming up quite quickly. He is getting closer and closer to Jean-Louis Schlesser.
A box. Another box. Another one. Some boxes have some things you don't expect. Scenic PCs with Pentium 2 processors, for instance, have an infrared interface, a chip card reader, ISDN communication tools, customized solutions. Siemens Nixdorf, personal computers.
Mitsubishi GDI.
Inside this engine, inside this car, the 21st century has already begun. Mitsubishi's gasoline direct injection benefits not only the way we drive, but also the way we live. It's now driving the new GDI Charisma. GDI takes you further.
Back to the Paris-Dakar Rally with
Euromaster, the European tyre specialist.
Before we look at tomorrow's stage, just a quick look and see what happens to those competitors who are having to retire. Hubert Auriel trying to shepherd all the retirements, and look at this, all the bikes being brought in on the sweeper trucks. Toyota's had to withdraw because its trucks are too far behind. And for one of them, Roland Heubeker, Belgian from Bruges, he's the sixth Dakar, he's never yet finished it. His Polaris quad is brought in, having been left out in the desert for 2 days.
En fait, exactement 3 nuits, 2 jours et 3 nuits dans le balai.
Well, Roland from Belgium.
Ça a dû vous sembler long, non? Non, parce qu'il y avait pas mal à faire, je dois dire. Hein. Charger, décharger, toute la moto et tout ça. En plus, j'étais avec le quad, plus on a eu une malheureuse histoire.
Telling us he spent 3 days in the camion, sweeper, 2 days and 3 nights. A lot of work to do, though, he said. As I helped to unload and upload all the bikes, we had bad luck because I lost my quad at about 70 kilometers an hour. It fell off the back. It's quite badly damaged, and we didn't realise until 30 kilometers on it had fallen off. Well, don't say that to the driver. Sorry, no, he says, Roland, the quad jumped itself out of the truck. It wasn't your fault at all.
Il était super, il nous a aidé à charger toutes les motos. Il connaît bien les motos, donc
well, the driver of the sweeper truck, Georges Brun, said he was great.
Il nous a vraiment rendu service, il nous a vraiment aidé. Ça s'est vraiment très bien passé.
He really helped us. He helped unload and load. He knows them as well as I do now. We're going to really miss him. He helped us a lot. Only one criticism: he doesn't know how to keep his bedroom in order. Just look at that mess.
Eh bien, avec eux, moi, j'irai au bout du monde, en tout cas.
But with them, I could go anywhere, he says, and real genuine affection between these knights of the desert as Roland Herbeker prepares to be repatriated to Belgium. So, tomorrow's stage, Timbuktu to Neymar in Mauritania, 551 kilometres back to the desert on the Smuggler's Trail to the bleak winter outpost.
Good luck. Paris-Dakar Rally with
Euromaster, the European tyre specialist.
And Mitsubishi Motors Corporation.
Welcome to day 13 of the 20th Dakar Rally. Join me, Mark Cole, looking at stage 12, 559 kilometres along the Smuggler's Trail from Timbuktu to Neymar. Richard Syke wins the stage for KTM. More problem for leader Stefan Petterhansel's Yamaha. Kenjiro Shinizuka of Japan wins the special, but Mitsubishi teammate Jean-Pierre Fontenay keeps the overall lead of the 1998 rally. We'll look back at yesterday's stage and Fabrizio Mioni of Italy. Problems with GPS, dropping him from second to third place. The fourth day, he's had problems with his satellite navigation. System supplied by the organisers for the first time this year, and many teams having problems with it. He wants to use his own, but the organisers say no. Stefan Petterhansel leads, racing with Carlos Sotelo through these stages. And Mioni's problems drop him from second place to third, Richard Syke taking over second overall in the rally. Brunesabi wins the stage as they race through Niger villages alongside the River Niger here in Mali. But Fontenay keeps the overall lead of this 20th edition of the world's most famous event. On board with the trucks for the villages, Karol Apres from the Czech Republic leading for Tatra. Just 14 of the 35 trucks that started from Paris on New Year's Day still in the running. This is Karol Apres for Tatra. Second at the moment is Yoshidio Sugawara in the Hino Ranger. And third overall, Idea Kabirov in the Kamaz. Early truck leader Gilbert Versino and the Mitsubishi truck is now 11th after being stuck on Friday. Many of these trucks, of course, carrying spares and tyres for the Raiders. Here indeed is the second place man, Sugawara, second also last year on the event. Well, these scenes from yesterday as they headed from Gao into Timbuktu, and in Timbuktu, some help for the locals. The French Dessoud Nissan team handing out pens that they collected across Normandy over the last 6 months. André Dessoud of Nissan tells us what it's all about. Well, these pens are being collected basically around Saint-Lô in Normandy, where our team's based. Last year, when we came into Timbuktu, we gave out pens to the local schools. It worked well, so this year we asked the children, school children around Saint-Lô to help us, and they collected 10,000 pens. We already made a distribution in Gao today in Timbuktu, and then we're going to be doing it all the way now to Dakar. Well, the school teacher here in Timbuktu said, well, these pens would be a great souvenir of the rally for the pupils. We hope that many more rallies will be able to come in order to give the benefits of this solidarity from our European friends. Look at today's stage at 551 kilometres to Naima, 60 kilometres of off-road tracks, and then a 500-kilometre section of the little-known Algeria to Mauritania trade route, hardly used nowadays. And back to Mauritania after all those troubles in Mali, including bivouac thefts, as well as the shootings the other night and the theft of a Tatra truck, which happily was picked up. Well, the bikes, still 88 of the 172 starters in the running. John Deacon well up there, and those of you who've been following John's progress, the Flying Cornishman, a little bit more about him in a while. So these scenes around Timbuktu, one of the Tuareg towns, 15,000 people in a sacred town until the turn of the century, a place where Europeans were definitely not welcomed. Still an important trading post. The Stefan Petterhansel, 20-minute lead this morning, leaves first. Incidentally, he'd had a second engine failure yesterday, Monday, and replaced his engine with the original engine, which had been rebuilt after being changed last week. Now, the rules say you may only change engines once. They're claiming it's the same engine they put back in, and the stewards today agreed that they can do that and told everyone else they can replace one engine twice if it's the original engine. Stefan Petterhansel passing Giovanni Sala on the KTM in 7th place. This is Fabrizio Mioni, no problems today with his GPS. 3rd on the stage and 3rd overall. Saying it's very difficult for me, I've got some problems, I'm tired. Maybe I started a bit too quick. Eric Bernard also. So I'm looking for the petrol halt here, very difficult stage here, a lot of camel grass around. 11th on the stage and 10th overall today. Worried about the fuel, in fact they find the fuel, there it is. Waiting for them at the midway point, but Petterhansel has gear selection problems yet again, just as he did 4 days ago. It's not completely broken, he said, but it's pretty loose. I'm just trying to tighten up as much as I can, so that if anything happens on the piston, it breaks, I'll have a bit of an advantage. Well, Mioni saying at least the GPS is working, and it is difficult. I've got some problems and I'm a bit tired after my bad day yesterday. I started too quickly, I think, and then I've had to slow down a bit now. I'm really finding it hard. Richard Sainz, difficult stage, he says, at this halt. Very sinuous and twisting with soft sand, and the fuel supply is a long way, 330 kilometers into the stage, and like many, I'm afraid that since the beginning that I wasn't going to make it for the fuel. I was afraid of the fuel consumption, so I went a bit slow. We'll have to see. Well, that seemed to be the point of most people, but Sainz wins that stage. 1989 French Enduro champion, and he was first on the Atlas Rally last year, riding for KTM, 27 years old, from Saint-Afrique in France. Petterhansel on the #1 Yamaha, still keeping off all those KTMs, and just look at the conditions they're going through today. That soft sand then turning to this harsh, rocky Mauritanian landscape. Oh, down goes Mioni, 3rd on the stage. He falls in this pass right on the border between Mali and Mauritania. Our cameraman and one of the French press agency photographers just happened to be at this point. Not the place you should fall down. Mioni gets going again, as we see Jean Brucy, 15th on the stage. But running quite a long way down the order at the moment after early problems. This man crashed. Paulo Marques, the Portuguese KTM rider, may have broken his collarbone, as we had a quick word with him about what had happened. Well, it's not too serious. He said it's, I've got an old problem in my right knee as well. I can't move the knee at the moment. So I've just stopped, and really I feel at the moment my health's more important than my bike. I may have damaged my shoulder, I don't know. I had a good race until now, but I'm been a bit unlucky on the Dakar. That's why I was a bit anxious before the start. I hope it'll be better next year, but I don't think I'm going to be able to go on. The pain is too much. But more seriously, another crasher, Spaniard Antonio Boluda, 39-year-old Cagiva rider. After a fuel stop, was getting up to speed, crashed heavily. The bike wasn't so badly damaged, but he hit his head hard. He is in a coma tonight, and he's been airlifted to Dakar, the first really serious injury of the rally. Well, as others go through, news on Cornwall's John Deacon. He's 12th today on the stage and back up to 7th place. Just one place from that magic top 6. And keep those messages coming in on the internet. That website for John Deacon, www.johndeacon.co.uk, and support John. He is doing great things at the moment, supported by Nick Ashley and Maidenet. So the news is that we just said 7th today for John Deacon, climbing back up the order. Can he make it up into 6th tomorrow, and then better before Dakar? Took 31 minutes off the man in front of him, Giovanni Sala, and he in fact, and Paulo Marques, the man who crashed there, passing Sala on the stage. Well, some of the reactions of those in the running today. Richard Sykes telling us the problem was the fuel was so far, as I think I told you at the stop, and I was really worried about consumption, so this morning I had to go slow. 100 kilometers for the supply. I realized I still had enough fuel left, so I speeded up, but would you believe I lost my saddle 50 kilometers before the supply? I had to slow down again. I was sitting on the chassis, basically. After that it was a bit better, but in the vegetation there was a lot of thorns. I'm weaving amongst the camel grass. I got thorns in my arms and hands, which rather hurt my arm for a bit. Nothing serious though. Peter Hans all the same. He said he's got a lot of thorns in him. It's been long and tiring, very physical. Everything hurts, the back, the arms, the legs, all my muscles. Well, has been a hard day. Mioni. Well, it's a difficult stage. Had a good first part, riding fast, but I had to slow down because I was tired, and the end of the stage was really, really hard. Very fast, 500 kilometers, but camel grass and everything littering the way. And then Paul Krause, the American, 4th on the stage, despite his GPS failing. Let's hear what he's got to say.
I got past most of them, and then from the fuel I had 3 guys to pass. And once I got past those 3 guys, it was free sailing and easy for me to do.
Well, the bike results today on the stage. Synked from Peter Hansel, from Mioni, American Kraus, Cox, Angelado, and just outside the top 6 there, Jimmick, Arcron, Sotelo, and John Deacon, as we said, in 12th place. Let's look at the overall results. Peter Hansel from Synked, Mioni, Sotelo, Hayden, Cox, and Deacon in 7th place. He is now only 43 minutes behind Alfie Cox of South Africa there. Can he make it onto the leaderboard tomorrow?
Hallo, ich bin Norbert. In meiner Branche bin ich als Fachmann bekannt und gefragt. Ich arbeite für eine der bedeutendsten Handelsketten Europas. Mittlerweile gibt es schon mehr als 9000 Spezialisten wie mich, die für ihre Sicherheit da sind. Wir überprüfen, reparieren und wenn nötig wechseln ihre Reifen. Auf diesem Gebiet sind wir Profis. Für die Zufriedenheit unserer Kunden tun wir einfach alles. Damit sie gerne wiederkommen.
Euromaster, the European tire specialist.
Surprised at just how far the new Mitsubishi Pajero will take you.
Hi, How about a ride?
The all-terrain vehicle that redefines freedom.
From the Challenge Stadium in Perth, Australia, the World Swimming Championships. Action-packed aquatic competition. Swimming, diving, water polo, synchronized swimming, open water swimming, synchronized diving even.
The World Swimming Championships, tomorrow, live on Eurosport.
With Arena and tourism in Malaysia. Back to the Paris-Dakar Rally with
Euromaster, the European tyre specialist.
We're back with our coverage of the Dakar Rally, the 20th edition. We're having a quick look now at the logistics side of the rally. This concerns the doctors and the medical aid to those injured riders. We saw earlier in the program what happened today, but this rider injured in Zwerat, one of many seen by doctors within minutes. One of the Nissan Tiranas that rolled here, and their vehicle.
If you are still painful.
Drivers being warned by the doctor, you must look out for concussion. This is Herbert Scheck at 65, the oldest competitor in the rally, in pain. He fell the other day and he's being lifted back as well. We talked to Dr. Christian Noel, who's one of the chief, well, he is the chief medical officer of the rally. He said, here we have received the injured brought in by our helicopters. This is our field hospital. Because the accident the other night in Zwerat was very serious, we had to contact Zwerat Hospital. Our surgeon, anaesthetist, and all our equipment was sent over to the hospital. We only use their electricity, their room, and their operating table. Well, not only are the doctors having to help the injured, they're having to take part in the rally themselves, and this happened to one of their medical cars. This is a doctor's car that rolled over, got it back in the rally after some running repairs. Well, if you'd been here 2 hours ago, you'd have seen two doctors under the car trying to work on it, doing mechanics. It doesn't look anything like a doctor's surgery in Paris. So what a great job they all do. And amongst the help there, Dr. Ali Ajefi, working in the local hospital, also helping to treat the injured. We talked to him.
They need help. They need psychologically help also, because they are alone. Sometimes they are tired, so they come at night here, even late. And there's always someone here, 24 hours per day.
Well, not only that, but they also help the locals and look after some of the local children who've got ailments here in this part of Africa. Another example of the Dakar doing good everywhere it goes. Well, time for our flashback on this 20th edition of the Dakar Rally. This is the 1992, the one that didn't go to Dakar. This is the Paris-Cape Town, the Paris-Le Cap. 332 starters from Paris, and they went right down through the center of Africa, through equatorial Africa, through Namibia, areas they have never ever been, many had never seen. This was Salvador Servia, the singing Spaniard. Larder driver extraordinaire. Not the only singers you'll hear later in the program. Citroën were there, and the Duc de Bourgogne buggies, the French Chicken King, was there as well as the Mitsubishis, and what a great drive by everyone involved. Hubert Auriol, the man everyone was looking for. Here's the Citroën. There is one of those pink buggies. But the danger always present, and Gilles Lallet, Yamaha rider, killed on the 13th stage after a collision with an assistance vehicle. In fact, the 29th fatality since the Dakar had started in 1979. Kindergarten on the KTM.